Hey everyone, ready for another deep dive? Today we're going where science fiction meets reality, talking about how AI is changing science as we know it.
It's really incredible, yeah.
We're not just talking about crunching numbers anymore. This is AI that designs molecules and stuff, predicts how crazy complex systems work. It's wild.
Even creating new materials, things we've never even thought of before. It's mind-blowing.
Totally. We found this awesome article from the AI journal. It's called The Future of Science, powered by Gen AI. And let me tell you, it paints a pretty amazing picture. So what's the big deal here? Gen AI. I mean, isn't that just like regular AI with a fancy new name?
Well, yeah, in a way, but think about it this way. Traditional AI, that's like a detective, sifting through clues, trying to solve the case. But generative AI, this is more like an artist. It uses what it knows to create something entirely new.
Oh, okay, I like that. That's a cool way to think about it. But how does that actually play out in science? Because we're talking about hard data, facts, experiments, not exactly artistic expression, right?
Right. But it's about using AI to go beyond just understanding the data. It's like
Yeah.
using AI to come up with solutions, hypotheses, push the limits of what we thought was possible.
Huh, okay, I'm starting to see it. So, like, give me an example. What does that look like in the real world?
Okay, so let's take drug discovery. Used to be, you'd randomly test thousands of compounds, right?
Right.
Just hoping to find something that worked. But now, scientists are using Gen AI to design molecules, specifically tailored molecules with certain properties they want.
Whoa, hold on. It's like
Yeah.
the AI is designing a custom-made medicine just for you. That sounds straight out of Star Trek.
It's getting closer all the time.
Hmm.
These AI models, they analyze huge data sets of molecular structures and how they work biologically, and then, boom, they create blueprints for new drugs that are way more likely to be effective with fewer side effects.
Okay, time out. How does an AI design a molecule? Does it have like a little lab coat in a tiny beaker? I need to wrap my head around this.
Not quite. But the process is fascinating. Imagine a chef, right? A traditional chef. They experiment, try different ingredients, techniques. But a chef powered by Gen AI. They've got access to every recipe ever created. They can analyze flavors, nutrition, even the cultural meaning behind dishes, all to create something completely new and innovative.
Oh, so it's like a super chef mixing and matching molecular ingredients based on this giant library of knowledge it has.
Exactly. And the results are pretty amazing. Scientists are already using this tech to develop potential drugs for all kinds of things. Cancer, Alzheimer's.
That's incredible. It's like we're on the verge of a medical revolution here.
Yeah, absolutely.
But drug discovery is just one area where this is happening, right? The article mentioned all sorts of stuff, materials science, climate
Oh,
modeling.
you're absolutely right. The potential here, it spans just about every scientific field you can think of.
Yeah.
Like in materials science, Gen AI is being used to design materials with specific properties, things we could only dream of before.
So we're not just finding new materials by chance anymore. We can actually create them with specific purposes in mind. That's incredible.
Yep. Imagine being able to build stuff that's super strong and super lightweight at the same time. Perfect for, more fuel-efficient airplanes, spacecraft. Or how about a material that conducts electricity with zero resistance? That would revolutionize energy.
Okay, my mind is officially blown. This is way beyond what I thought AI was capable of.
We're just getting started. Generative AI is being used in climate modeling too, helping scientists make much more accurate predictions about the future.
That sounds incredibly important, especially with climate change being such a huge issue. But how does AI even begin to understand something as complex as that?
Well, think of it this way. It leverages machine learning to analyze massive amounts of data. Data from satellites, weather stations, historical records, you name it.
Okay, so like a super-powered weather forecaster, but instead of predicting tomorrow's rain, it's predicting the long-term impacts of climate change.
Exactly. These AI-powered climate models can actually show us how different things we do, like greenhouse gas emissions or deforestation, contribute to climate change. And the really important part, they help us project what those changes will mean. Rising sea levels, extreme weather events.
So we're getting a much clearer picture of our planet's future, all thanks to AI. That's pretty amazing.
And with that clearer picture, we can make better decisions about how to deal with the negative effects and, adapt to a changing world.
This is all fascinating, but we've covered a lot of ground already. Drug discovery, material science, climate modeling. Where else are we seeing Gen AI make a real difference? What other fields is it shaking up?
One of the most exciting areas is genomics. That's where Gen AI is helping us unlock the secrets hidden in our DNA.
Genomics and AI sounds like the ultimate scientific power couple. Tell me more. Tell me more.
Okay, so remember the Human Genome Project? That was huge, right? Mapping the entire sequence of human DNA.
Oh, yeah, definitely a landmark achievement.
But that was just the beginning. Now we've got massive databases of genomic information, and we need seriously powerful tools to make sense of it all.
And that's where AI comes in.
You got it. Generative AI can analyze these huge data sets, identify mutations that cause diseases, even predict what effects different genetic variations will have.
So it's like having an AI detective working at the molecular level, helping us understand the very building blocks of life. That's incredible.
A great way to put it. And the possibilities, they're huge. We're talking personalized medicine, tailored to your unique genetic makeup, detecting diseases early on, maybe even gene therapies that could fix genetic defects.
Whoa, this is seriously mind-blowing stuff. It seems like Gen AI is about to revolutionize every aspect of science and ultimately our lives.
I think so, yeah. But, like with any powerful technology, there's some things we need to be careful about, potential challenges to address.
Oh, I bet. Every superhero has their kryptonite, right? So what are some of the potential downsides to this seemingly magical technology? What do we need to watch out for?
One of the biggest things to remember is that AI is only as good as the data it learns from.
So if we feed it bad data, we're going to get bad results. Like teaching a parrot to swear, is that what you mean?
That's one way to put it. If the data used to train these AI models is biased or incomplete, the results could be totally off and potentially harmful.
Makes sense. So garbage in, garbage out. We got to make sure we're feeding these AI models the good stuff, the highest quality data we can get. What else? What other things do we need to be cautious about?
Another thing to consider is something called the black box problem.
Yeah.
The black box problem.
A black box problem. Okay, that sounds kind of ominous. Is the AI hiding some secret code from us or something?
Not exactly a secret code, but it does kind of highlight a challenge we have in figuring out how AI reaches its conclusions. Sometimes, with these generative models, it's hard to trace the steps it took to get to a result.
So it's like the AI gives us these amazing insights, but we don't really know how it got there.
Yeah, that's the issue. And in science, that can be a problem, right? Because knowing the why, understanding the process, is just as crucial as knowing the what, the actual outcome. If we don't know the logic behind a discovery, it's tough to build upon it or even, trust it completely.
I can see that. So are scientists just blindly trusting these AI models then, or are there ways to make them more transparent?
Luckily, a lot of researchers are working on cracking open that black box. They're developing new techniques to make these AI models more interpretable so we can actually see the steps in their decision-making.
Ah, okay, so it's like a work in progress. We want to harness the power of AI, but also make sure we understand how it ticks.
Exactly. Finding that balance, trust, and transparency, that's key.
Mm.
We need to trust the insights, yeah. But we also got to be able to understand the reasoning behind it. It can't just be magic, right?
Right. It's not just feeding data to an AI and accepting whatever comes out. There's got to be some critical thinking involved.
Yeah. Absolutely. It's about using AI as a powerful tool to make our scientific understanding even better.
Yeah.
Not about replacing human intuition and critical thinking altogether. Those are still essential.
That makes a lot of sense. This whole conversation has been so eye-opening, by the way. It feels like we're on the verge of a scientific revolution here, and AI is leading the charge. But I gotta ask, what about us humans in all of this? I mean, with all these advancements, won't scientists become, like, obsolete?
That's a question I hear a lot, and it's a natural one to have, right? Everyone's wondering what our role will be in a future where AI is so capable. But I see this as a collaboration, not a replacement.
So you're saying AI and scientists, they'll be working together, not against each other.
Exactly. Think of it this way. Imagine if scientists didn't have to spend all their time on the really tedious stuff, the data crunching analysis. AI could take care of all that, freeing up scientists to focus on the bigger picture, asking the right questions, designing experiments, and making those intuitive leaps that lead to real breakthroughs.
So it's like AI gives scientists a superpower boost, letting them do what humans do best, think creatively, solve those really complex problems.
Right. It's augmenting our abilities, not taking over.
Yeah.
And it's not just about scientists either. Think about how AI could help us share scientific knowledge, making it more accessible to everyone, no matter who they are or where they live.
That's a really cool point. It's not just about speeding up science, it's about making it more inclusive,
Right.
opening it up to the world.
Exactly. And that's what excites me the most about all of this. This technology, it has the power to break down barriers and empower anyone to contribute to scientific progress. That's pretty amazing when you think about it.
It really is. So as we wrap up this deep dive into Gen AI and the future of science, what's the big takeaway for our listeners? What should they be thinking about as they process all of this? What's the one thing they should walk away with?
Hmm. I'd say the main thing to remember is this. We're entering a whole new era where the lines between science and technology are getting blurrier and blurrier. AI is becoming like this essential partner in our quest to understand the world. And while there are challenges, for sure, the possibilities, the potential benefits are just enormous.
It's a future brimming with possibility, and I'm definitely excited to see how it all unfolds. What about you?
Oh, absolutely. Who knows what incredible discoveries are just around the corner? And the best part is, this is only the beginning.
You're right. This is just the beginning of the Gen AI revolution, and we're all along for the ride. But hey, every revolution needs some thoughtful folks steering the ship, right?
Yeah, couldn't agree more. It's not all sunshine and roses. There are some important things to consider as we navigate this new world. We have to be mindful of the potential downsides, too, not just get caught up in all the hype.
Exactly. It's like every superhero has their kryptonite, right? So, what are some of the potential pitfalls we need to watch out for? What keeps you up at night when you think about all this?
Well, one of the biggies is the whole issue of bias in AI. I touched on it before, but it's worth diving a little deeper.
Yeah, definitely. We can't just assume AI is automatically going to be fair and impartial, right? It's learning from us, and let's face it, humans aren't exactly perfect.
Exactly. AI models, they learn from the data we feed them. And if that data reflects our own biases, well, the AI is going to inherit those biases too.
So it's like if we train an AI on a data set of medical images that's mostly from one ethnic group, it might not be as accurate at diagnosing people from other groups.
Exactly. Or let's say we're using AI to help with hiring decisions, but the historical data it's trained on shows that men have been hired more often than women for certain roles. Guess what? The AI might perpetuate that same bias, even if it's unintentional.
Wow, that's a sobering thought. So how do we fix that? I mean, is there a way to de-bias AI?
It's a tough challenge, but researchers are working on it. One approach is to make sure the data sets we use to train AI are as diverse and representative as possible. Another is to develop algorithms that can actually detect and mitigate bias in the data itself.
So it's like we need to be really careful about the ingredients we're putting into the AI recipe, and we need to develop tools to check for any unwanted flavors that might sneak in.
Exactly. It's all about being aware of the potential for bias and taking steps to address it at every stage of the AI development process. We can't just assume it's going to magically disappear on its own.
Right, it takes a conscious effort, both from the people who are building the AI and from the people who are using it.
Absolutely. And that brings us to another important consideration. Transparency. We talked about the black box problem earlier and how it can be tough to understand how AI arrives at its conclusions. Well, that lack of transparency can also make it harder to detect and address bias.
Ah, so it's like if we don't know how the AI is making its decisions, we might not even realize it's biased.
Precisely. It's like trying to fix a broken engine when you can't even open the hood and see what's going on inside.
Okay, so we need to make sure that AI is transparent, that we can understand its reasoning, and that we're using diverse and unbiased data to train it. What else? What other ethical dilemmas are lurking out there in the world of Gen AI?
Well, another big one is the whole question of responsibility. When an AI system makes a decision, who's accountable?
Oof, that's a tough one. Is it the people who created the AI? The people who are using it? The AI itself?
Right. It's a complex issue with no easy answers. Think about it. If an AI-powered medical diagnosis system makes a mistake, who's to blame? The doctor who relied on the AI's recommendation? The company that developed the AI? Or is the AI somehow responsible for its own actions?
It's like a philosophical puzzle wrapped in a technological enigma, and the stakes are really high, especially when you're talking about things like healthcare or self-driving cars.
Absolutely. These are questions we need to be grappling with right now as we're developing and deploying these powerful AI systems. We need to figure out how to assign responsibility in a way that's fair and just, and that ensures accountability when things go wrong.
It sounds like there's a lot of work to be done, both on the technical side and on the ethical side.
There is, but it's also incredibly exciting work. We're at the forefront of a technological revolution, and we have the opportunity to shape it in a way that benefits all of humanity.
That's a great point. It's not just about the technology itself, it's about how we choose to use it. We have a responsibility to wield this power wisely and ethically. But hey, enough with the heavy stuff. Let's shift gears a bit and talk about some of the really cool and mind-blowing applications of Gen AI that are already happening. What are some of the things that are getting you really pumped about the future?
Oh, there are so many. But one that really stands out for me is the potential of Gen AI to accelerate scientific discovery. We've already talked about how it's being used in drug discovery and material science, but it's also making waves in fields like astronomy, physics, and even mathematics.
Wait, AI is doing math now? I thought that was supposed to be a human thing.
Well, AI isn't exactly replacing mathematicians, but it's becoming an incredibly powerful tool for exploring complex mathematical concepts and solving problems that have stumped humans for centuries.
So it's like having an AI mathematician as your research partner. That's pretty wild.
It is, and it's leading to some really fascinating breakthroughs. For example, there's a team of researchers who are using Gen AI to search for new prime numbers. They've already discovered several new primes that are larger than any previously known.
Whoa, hold on. Prime numbers, those are those numbers that are only divisible by one and themselves, right? I remember learning about them in school, but I never thought they were actually that important.
Well, they might seem simple at first glance, but prime numbers are actually incredibly important in mathematics and computer science. They're used in all sorts of applications, from cryptography to internet security, and the discovery of new prime numbers can have a ripple effect across multiple fields.
So it's like AI is helping us unlock new secrets of the universe, one prime number at a time.
Exactly, and that's just one example. There are countless other ways that Gen AI is being used to push the boundaries of scientific knowledge. It's truly an exciting time to be involved in science.
I gotta say, I'm feeling a lot more optimistic about the future now. It's easy to get caught up in all the doom and gloom about AI, but it's important to remember that this technology also has the potential to do a lot of good in the world.
I agree. It's all about how we choose to use it. And if we approach it with a sense of responsibility and a commitment to ethical principles, I believe we can harness the power of AI to create a better future for everyone.
Well, that's a great note to end on. Thanks again for joining us on this deep dive into the world of Gen AI and science. It's been a truly enlightening conversation.
My pleasure. I always enjoy talking about the amazing potential of this technology.
And to our listeners, thanks for sticking with us. We hope you've learned something new and that you're feeling as excited as we are about the future of AI and science. Remember, this is just the beginning of the journey, and there's still so much to explore. Until next time, keep asking questions, keep learning, and keep diving deep into the fascinating world around us.
Yeah, it's a really big one.
Yeah, it does feel like a huge responsibility, to make sure we're using this incredible power for good, not for, well, the opposite.
Exactly. And you're right. With any powerful tool, there's always that potential for misuse. And with something like Gen AI, which is so transformative, the stakes are even higher, for sure.
So how do we make sure that doesn't happen? How do we keep AI from going all, sci-fi movie on us and taking over the world?
Uh-huh. Well, Hollywood does love a good AI apocalypse story, right? But the reality is much more nuanced. I think the key is to have a strong ethical framework from the very beginning, something that guides how we develop and use AI.
So it's not just about the tech itself, it's about the values, the principles behind it.
Exactly. We need to be asking the hard questions. What are the potential risks? How do we mitigate them? And maybe the most important question, what values do we want to build into these AI systems? What kind of future do we want to create with them?
That makes a lot of sense. It's not just about what AI can do, it's about what it should do.
Exactly. And that's going to take a joint effort. Scientists, policymakers, ethicists, the public. We all need to be part of the conversation, talking openly and honestly about what this technology means and how to make sure it's used responsibly.
That sounds like a pretty complex process and one that's going to be ongoing, but also super important to get right.
Absolutely. The choices we make today about AI, they're going to have a massive impact on the future, on all of us. It's a responsibility we all share, for sure.
Wow. Okay. That's a lot to think about. Well, on that note, I think it's time to wrap up this deep dive. Thanks so much for sharing your expertise and insights with us today. It's been truly fascinating.
It's been my pleasure. Really enjoyed it. Always happy to talk about the potential of AI, especially when it comes to science. There's so much to be excited about.
Absolutely. And to our listeners, thank you for joining us on this journey into the world of Gen AI and science. We hope you've come away with a new appreciation for the amazing possibilities, but also for the responsibility that comes with them. As we step into this new era of discovery, remember, you're not just a spectator. You have a voice in shaping how this technology unfolds. So keep asking questions, stay informed, and let's all work together to make sure AI is a force for good in the world. Until next time, keep exploring, keep learning, and keep diving deep into the fascinating world around us.